welcome to the channel. Also, on a completely unrelated note, do you hear how much quieter my air conditioner is? If you haven't cleaned your filter in your window air conditioner or portable air conditioner, that would be a good idea. Dust was literally blocking the airflow in that and making it chug, and it sounded horrible, and it wasn't cooling very well, so yeah. Completely unrelated, just thought I would enlighten you in case you haven't cleaned your filters in a couple of years like I have. So, as you can tell from my shirt, I live in the Portland area, and, well, we don't have transit of all types, but we do have a little bit of quite a few things. But today I'm going to be ranking transit in a transit hierarchy of here's the base level of transit all the way to here's the best mode of transit. And depending on the size of your city and population and a whole number of factors, some of these may make sense to build in a major city, some of these might not. I'll also go over something I don't really see many people talking about when it comes to stuff like this, and that is the frequency of those types of services and how I would rank them. Most frequent to least frequent. Actually, I'll probably end up doing least frequent to most frequent. I don't know, we'll see. Now, I'm going to post a list on screen later and in the description, hopefully, of my hierarchy, transit hierarchy. Now, this is my opinions. It's based on a number of things, but this is how I see it ranked. I'm going to go over this list in reverse order and start at the bottom and work my way up. So at the bottom of the list is something that tends to be free, and that is shuttle service, shuttle bus service. This is designed to connect two short distances by a bus that runs every so often and again is usually free. These shuttle buses many times run using minibuses, 20 to 25 foot long minibuses. If you're from the Portland area, you may have seen them before on Ride Connection or the Washington Park Shuttle, among some others. And you can't have a transit agency without some local bus service. This is bus service within the city. It's very, very simple. Take buses, these can range in size, run them down some major streets along your city, run them at a certain frequency that is convenient for your passengers, and call it a day. And when I say that these can range in size, I mean it. There are some cities that use 30-foot, 35-foot buses. Most typical are 40-foot buses, and in some cases, as is becoming ever more popular, the good old 60-foot articulated bus. The next step up from here would be some express or regional bus service. Now this is very much similar to local bus service, but it's express. Meaning, of course, you take these buses, you put them on some major highway or interstate freeway or whatever, and it goes between two major destination points, or just simply travels express for a portion to speed up the travel time from one place to another. And regional is very much the same, but usually these buses stay on interstate freeways for much longer and travel between cities. And new to Portland, BRT, Bus Rapid Transit. This is an enhanced version of bus, which includes some elements of rail. It also is meant to be fast. So it's meant to offer longer buses with higher capacity, but it's meant to be fast. You can board and exit through 3 different doors within the bus. The stops are further apart, and it provides high frequency to allow for convenient trips and to make it so that people want to use that service. It also includes some very cool elements such as traffic signal priority to get buses moving even faster through the corridor. Now for something Portland doesn't have, but our neighbors to the north up in Seattle do. And those are monorails or people movers. I've kind of lumped those together into the same thing as they are similar. They move people. There's an elevated trackway with a train that's designed to move people around a short-ish distance. These are usually confined to the very most downtown areas of certain cities. And these are usually not really being built anymore, although I believe Los Angeles is getting a monorail, built at LAX. Now for some real rail stuff. Streetcars. Portland does have these. We've had them for 2 decades now, at least the modern ones. And it basically is an enhanced bus on rails. The vehicles provide higher capacity than a standard bus, and you get the enjoyment of riding on smooth steel rails, which provides a much higher quality ride for your passengers. And it, as a bonus, becomes a staple of your city if you get some cool looking streetcars for your downtown streets. Light rail. Similar to streetcar, but more like an actual railway. These are designed to offer even higher capacity than a streetcar, usually with multiple train cars hooked together, typically 2 to 4 train cars. And they're designed to go longer distances and at higher speeds than streetcars. Some light rail systems do behave like streetcars in the downtown area, which yours truly doesn't fully approve of, and Portland is absolutely no exception to this. I actually think we probably got the ball rolling for stuff like that, but it happens nonetheless. Now for something that our neighbors a little further to the north than Seattle have. Light metro. Now this is different from light rail, but I wouldn't say too terribly different. It's still higher capacity and it's more metro-like, but the train sets are usually much shorter. Again, maybe 4 or 5 train cars. Vancouver, Canada has an excellent light metro system. It's called the SkyTrain, and the whole thing runs on an elevated trackway, but it provides the nice high capacity and, more importantly, high frequency, so that passengers can get from point A to point B by literally just showing up to the station and not having to wait very long before the next train shows up. Then we've got both commuter rail and regional rail, but I'm going to separate those for this video. Let's start with commuter rail. Now, in general, they serve the downtown area of your major city. Now, the Portland area, we do actually have a diesel commuter train, but nobody knows about it because it doesn't actually serve Portland. So again, there are exceptions to the rule as always. But commuter rail in general only runs during the weekday commuting hours, and in some cases only run toward downtown in the morning and away in the evening. Not all commuter rail services are the same. In fact, they're all vastly different. But some of them are tiny, like ours, where we just have 1 or 2 car trains that are for use on the system. But some commuter rail systems go much, much more than that, such as the Sounder train in Seattle. Still only runs during commuting times. It runs towards Seattle in the morning and away in the evening, but they have double-deck coaches and hook upwards of 7 of them together. So it really just depends on a number of factors. Regional rail. This is again very similar with trains coming in and out of your big city, but typically regional rail travels a little further than commuter rail would, and as a huge bonus, regional rail typically runs all day, 7 days a week, and sometimes overnight. This makes it much easier to travel when you know that you can just show up to the station, check the departure board and see, oh, okay, I have to wait 20 minutes for the train. Okay, I'll go kill some time, come back here, and you know that you can take the train there do whatever you need to do at that stop, and come back without really needing the timetable, ideally. And at the top of the chain would be Metro, full-scale Metro. Now, this is basically what you want to be striving for. Have you ever seen the New York subway? You probably have. That is a Metro. These systems are usually quite expansive. They serve the city, the downtown area very well. They serve areas outside the city very well. They're entirely grade separated, meaning they do not run in the street at all. They'll either be on an elevated trackway or underground, or maybe in a separated trackway, sort of like when the New York subway crosses the Williamsburg Bridge, for example. The tracks are at the same level as the road, but it's a separate trackway. There's no way a car is going to go over onto the subway tracks. That sort of thing. Metros are usually incredibly frequent and incredibly long. Some of these trains, especially the ones in New York, can be upwards of 11 cars long. You don't believe me? Look up a picture of New York Subway's 7 train. Many of these are 11 cars long. Now I'm going to black out the screen, and here is a list, top to bottom, of what I just talked about. This was the order that I see transit in. And so, ideally, your city would have all of these, but I don't think there's a city in the world that has all of them. Tokyo, maybe. But yes, that is how I see transit. Well, we've unblacked the screen, now I'm going to black the screen again, and now I'm going to show you from most frequent to least frequent. So the full-scale Metro would be like every 3 to 8 minutes between trains. Light Metro, maybe 4 to 10 minutes. Monorail and People Mover is about 5 to 12 minutes. BRT, again, about 5 to 12 minutes. Streetcar, ideally, should be about 6 to 12 minutes, although most American streetcar systems are not that good. Light rail should be about 8 to 15 minutes. High capacity bus, which I didn't lump in with local bus this time because I did want to make a distinction for this. High capacity buses usually run more frequently, so 10 to 15 minutes for that. Local bus would be more like, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 60 minutes, and some local bus service runs during the rush hour only, so there might be quite a large service gap. Express and regional buses are usually 30 to 60 minutes, depending on if it's in the busy part of the day or not. Shuttle buses, it's kind of same deal, every 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the busyness of the day. Commuter Rail is, again, the same deal, about every 30 to 60 minutes. And regional rail varies the widest, with trains every 30 to 120 minutes. I have seen regional rail networks before where trains are 2 hours apart. And that, of course, is going to be affected by how busy the freight corridor is through here. If there are a lot of freight trains that go up and down the tracks and you want to put a regional train on it as well, good luck getting it with high frequency. Freight almost always takes priority. So that's why. Well, this video really didn't have much of a point, but I thank you for watching it anyways, and maybe it put a little something into your head and enlightened you about a lot of the different types of modes of transit that you may have not even considered existed. So, anyways, thank you for watching this, and I'll see you on the next one.